beats Douglas up some more before trying to drown him. When Douglas is about to stop breathing, Whitney pulls him out of the simulation. Seeing that face causes Douglas to punch his friend before realizing he's home. Afterward, Douglas tells Whitney that all the people in the simulation are as real as they are, with their own lives and feelings. He thinks they shouldn't be messing with their heads and that his project was a mistake. Whitney tries to convince him they just programmed it that way, but Douglas storms off. At the hotel, Douglas finds McBain waiting for him to tell him Jane has disappeared. After doing lots of research, McBain has confirmed that Hannon didn't have any kids and that there's no woman with Jane's name in the USA or France. Getting worried, Douglas finds the taxi driver who picked up Jane a few days ago and pays him in exchange for information. It turns out Jade took the cab to go to a neighborhood nearby, so Douglas visits the town and asks around until he discovers that the body Jane uses is a cashier at the grocery store. When Douglas walks in, she doesn't recognize him, but she does admit he looks familiar. With Ashton's story still in his head, Douglas follows the route described in the letter and goes through a few barriers before finding the edge of the world. He's shocked to discover a wall of code and wireframe, which means his reality in 1999 is as fake as the 1937 one. It also means he's not real either. Meanwhile, McBain finds the cashier who looks like Jane, but she doesn't recognize him. When McBain makes his officer check her records, he learns that her friends notice she's been going out all night and sleeping all day. At that moment, Jane enters that body and sees McBain outside, so she hides and calls Douglas to ask him to meet him at Hannon's office. Moments later, Jane is telling Douglas the whole truth. There are thousands of virtual worlds, but this one is the only one that ever created a simulation inside the simulation. Jane didn't kill Hannon, she was sent after his death to pretend to be his daughter and inherit the company. She was supposed to shut it down, but he tricked them by changing his will. Douglas' body stabbed Hannon, but it happened while it was being controlled by a VR user, who happens to be her husband David. Jane explains her husband got addicted to the simulation and it corrupted him into becoming abusive. She thinks that since Douglas and Hannon saw the edge of the world, it proves they have a bit of soul in them and are real. Since the simulation started, Jane has been watching Douglas